Friday at Gen Con 2024 continues. And you're probably used to seeing Stephen Chenault from Troll Lord Games on Zoom calls and things like that. So, because that's how I'm used to seeing you.
Lots of those.
So it's very nice to actually run into you in person.
Absolutely. Nice we could stop and chat.
So we are going to chat about Castles and Crusades and probably a little bit of other little Gygax related stuff.
Gygax, some amazing adventures. We got all kinds of stuff going on.
So let's jump right in.
What do you want to hear about first? The Reforged? We could dive in with that.
Yeah, let's do that.
So we just finished the Kickstarter on the Castles and Crusades Reforged, and this is our movement to get all of the OGL content, the SRD content removed and the OGL pulled out.
Right.
We've gone through everything, and we've changed some of the spell names and a few other monster names and stuff like that. The game itself really isn't changing at all. I mean,
right.
it is. It's still the same game, just a little bit of, tweaking on the side, and then we're overhauling the books. Some new art in there. The Monsters and Treasures getting new art for all of the monsters. So every monster that's in the book will have a piece of art that goes with it. We've never done that before. So the Reforged is, and it's well on its way. The Player's Handbook is almost print ready. The CKG's got maybe a week's worth of work on it, and then it's ready. Monsters and Treasures got a little bit more. We got about 60 more pieces of art that I think need to go into it. But I'm hoping the next 30 to 45 days that's all resolved, and we're at the printers, and this stuff will be out by Christmas.
Was the Castle Keeper's Guide part of that?
Yes.
I thought it was part of that Kickstarter.
Yeah. That book really never needed the OGL in it. There is no SRD content in there except, I think, about 20 spell names, like Magic Missile was as an example of a spell.
Right.
And we've changed that stuff. So it's going to see almost no changes unless there's a chapter in there on monster ecology that's really kind of out of place. We might yank that and replace that with some new material.
Okay.
But I don't know. I kind of just want to leave it the way it is so that, everybody who's got it, they know what they're getting. And, it's the 5th printing, I think, on that book.
And it's important to point out here that unlike other fantasy role-playing games, the Castle Keeper's Guide, which you would think, oh, it's the Game Master's Guide, I gotta have it. It is not integral to actually playing Castles and Crusades. Yeah. All you need is the core book.
Correct.
And the Monsters and Treasures.
Yeah, I'll do what everyone tells me to not do. So the CKG is completely not needed for the game. The CKG is absolutely jammed with really great information on NPCs, how to manage them, how to give land as treasure, cave types, how to handle dying characters, just all kinds of that extraneous stuff that GMs run into all the time.
And a lot of rules options.
Yeah. There's a mana system for spells, there's advantages in there. There's all kinds, just tons and tons of stuff. It is packed. 250,000 words in that book is absolutely packed. The Player's Handbook is everything you need to play, and you really, honestly, especially if you're an old school gamer, probably even a 5th edition gamer, you don't even need the monster book. You can take monsters and skin them over fairly easily.
Yeah, it's not difficult to convert.
Not too difficult. I won't say that, but the Player's Handbook is really what you need.
See, I can say it.
You can say it.
I can say whatever the hell I want about these books.
I'm always getting in trouble for that, but you can't, honestly. The Player's Handbook has everything you need to play that game. All the rules are in there, everything you need.
And if you're not overly familiar with Castles and Crusades, it is a fantasy role-playing game. If you like your 5e mechanics, but you want more of the old school flavor, or if you want an old school flavor with a more modern approach to the mechanics, then by all means,
it's it. And I would even add to that, if you're a 5th edition player, if you play D&D 5e, this is really the game you want to be playing because it allows you to role play and create far easier because it's such a rules-like system. And the Siege Engine, which is our attribute check system, is so very intuitive. It takes you about, 1 or 2 or 3 games, and then you've kind of mastered it, and it allows you to do anything. So if you're really wanting to do that kind of immersive role-playing where you're playing whatever kind of monster class or something, this is the game you want to do because there's no restrictions, right, on your imagination.
Right.
And that's the key to it. And I gather that a lot of 5th edition players have jumped into D&D because they've come over from video games or whatever. They play 5th edition because it gives them this huge outlet for their imagination. Video games don't do that. No. Video games are fantastic. They're great. I love them.
Oh, yeah.
But
we talk about this a lot.
Absolutely. You're playing this.
You can only play the programming and
right.
That's all.
That's it. And so many gamers, especially young people who are coming from video games, they have very active imaginations. I mean, they're every bit as into it, and role-playing games are tailor-made for that, and CNC is absolutely tailor-made for that. Absolutely.
I talk about it all the time on the live shows.
We really appreciate that. Really.
Well, your checks have cleared, so
yeah,
it's all
good. That's good.
So let's talk about some Gygax related content.
Yes. So the Gygax stuff, man, where to begin? So we've got, we've recently, for those of you who don't know, we had the license from 2000, when signed in 2000 I think, or 2001, and worked with Gary up until he passed away in 2008. We had a ton of stuff of his in the works, most notably his Castles Crusades, which was his kind of magnum opus, his giant dungeons and castles and all this stuff. And we had just started working
near
that.
the village of Gygax.
Yes, my favorite of all of the Gary Gygax stuff. I absolutely love that book. But I'm an overland adventure guy, so.
Okay.
But anyway, so those licenses went away. We got them back late last year, a few months ago.
Right.
And we picked up right where we left off. We've done a few Kickstarters, one on The Hermit, and that book is being wrapped up now. It should go to the printers in the next couple of weeks. We did the Gygaxian Fantasy Worlds, renamed the Gygax World Builder series, which is 11 books of how to world build. I mean, it's just filled with an unending amount of content on how to build your world. And then of course, the magnum opus, the Castles Crusades stuff. We're tentatively planning on a winter Kickstarter that will cover Gygax, the Eastmark, the castles, the environs, and the first 2 levels of the dungeon. We've already started work on the 2nd level of the dungeon, and the plan is to have one, and this is just the writing side of it, but to have 1 level written per month, and then we'll do the maps and art and editing and cleaning and all that stuff up, but I want 1 written per month for the next 17 months until we're done with that.
Wow.
We're going to move on it fast, because it's been way too long. Everyone here has been waiting too long.
That's one thing I have noticed about Troll Lord Games is when you guys decide to do something, it's done.
We
it's
try
not,
to
well, we've been kicking the tires on this for 5 years, and I guess. It's like, oh yeah, we're going to do this, and then 4 months later, it's like, oh, it's on Kickstarter.
That's what we're trying to do, and we've got a really big crew, and it's a very competent crew, and everybody is, they're, elbows deep in all of this stuff, which is absolutely fantastic. There was a while there in the early years where things got tight. It was me and Peter Bradley. Stuff was a little bit slower in those days, but
yeah, sure, right.
Those days are behind us, I think, and hopefully, knock on wood. So we're gonna move on this stuff fast.
Anything else you want to share with our audience?
We also have, and I'm super jazzed about this. We've had the Amazing Adventure stuff out for years. This is the first time that I redirected a lot of the company's attention to making sure that this was cleaned up, put out with new art, new color art. The covers for these books are fantastic, and it's basically Castles and Crusades is everything fantasy. Amazing Adventures is everything else. It's a multi-genre. It's a siege engine, same system. You can take a character from Castles and Crusades, wander it into an Amazing Adventures scenario, same rules, a little different class, whatever.
It's just genre agnostic.
That's exactly right. And those go to the printers next Monday and Tuesday, those 2 core books, so they'll be out. And what's really nice about all of this stuff that we're doing, and this is kind of a little bit of a behind the scenes stuff. So we've also got the Barsoom license from the Edgar Rice Burroughs people.
Right.
So we're doing the John Carter license, the John Carter role-playing game.
Is that going to be Siege Engine?
It'll be Siege Engine as well, and I'm doing the Codex of the Plains. This is a huge book that's going to tie everything together. So, the world of Erd is Venus, right? That is Venus like 1 billion years ago.
Okay.
We're going to tie Castles and Crusades together with Venus through the Codex of the Plains and the Rings of Brass, which will be Erd, Earth, Amazing Adventures, all of that, and Gary Gygax somewhere in the castle. I don't think it's in the dungeon, but in the castle where the environs. There's a cave that leads to a Barsoom-like world. So we're going to take the Rings of Brass from the Codex, tie it to Gary's. It's all going to be this nice big bundle project in the next. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be absolutely awesome.
Any final thoughts you want to share with our audience?
Well, I want to thank everybody who's supported Troller Games for these past 25 years. This is our 25th year, and we've been publishing.
So do you have a patch?
We do, yeah. It's absolutely it's awesome. Past that Nick, wherever Nick is, he designed it. I don't know if you can see that. Very, very cool. 25 years of Troller Games and 20 years of Castles and Crusades. I want to thank everybody out there for all the crazy support that you guys have given us. I mean, it's just, and all the love. I can't express how appreciative we are of all of it.
And your releases are like Doritos. You'll make more.
This-
Just buy
this
them. They'll
is a
make
lot.
more.
We've got an Armory book coming out, a Monsters book coming. There's so much books coming.
There is a lot of
There's
content.
so much stuff coming out. I can't keep up with it anymore. So
Sweet.
we're just
Stephen, thanks for taking time out
Thanks
to
a lot.
chat.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.